This episode is brought to you by Udemy. Leaders face challenges every single day, evolving workplace culture, closing skills gap, and let's not forget about the global recession nipping at our collective heels. That's why Udemy Business is bringing you a new podcast called Leading Up. Hear fresh perspectives and insights from business and leadership experts. Every episode is short, only 20 minutes, and shares inspiration, advice, and research to help you work, lead, and live differently. Host Alan Todd has seen firsthand how these challenges can drive creativity, exciting business outcomes, and an inventive spirit. Listen to Leading Up on your favorite podcasting app or follow Leading Up so you never miss an opportunity to move business forward.
Warning. This podcast is about the realities of working in people operations. This is not a stuck-up, PC, compliance-based, or employment law podcast about stuffy, outdated HR practices. Shit will get real here, and we assume no responsibility.
I have what they call the joy of missing out. I do not like
JOMO.
I have JOMO hardcore. I do not like participating in social events. I do not like participating
We
in
know how
team
much you
builders.
love team building, so
I cannot stand icebreakers.
This is the People Problems Podcast with Alexa Baggio and Tyson McKenzie.
Tyson,
What is up?
'tis the season.
Yeah,
Tis the
the
season.
damn
This is our
season.
second to last episode before we take a week off and fucking get rid of 2022.
Can't wait.
I am ready. I am ready for 2022 to be over for lots of reasons, truthfully. But
Yeah, this has
Tis the
been
season.
like a tough year for sure. It's been
Yeah.
a tough year. I think everyone's kind of feeling that a little bit.
I feel like everyone was like, oh, 2020 was tough. Oh, 2021 was tough. And now everybody's like, no, 2022 has definitely been the worst. Like,
Wait, is that just going to happen every year now? Like,
I
is
don't know.
2023 just going to be like complete shit?
I fucking hope not. I don't think I'll make it.
Yeah, like I feel like I remember there was like this like viral thing going around. I think it was either 2017 or 2019. And there was this viral thing that everyone was like, this was just like the most boring ass year of all time. Like it was just like a generally like shit feeling year. I want to say it was
Must have been 2017.
It might have been 2017, and just like everybody was talking about it. It was like viral on like Instagram. People were like, "Oh, nothing happened this year." Anyways, and then you
Yeah.
know, a couple years later, kablam!
Yeah,
Just
kablam.
all of our lives were just shaken up, and
I feel like the novelty of COVID has worn off. Like it's no longer a COVID year, but like it is officially post-COVID, quote unquote.
oh yeah, we're post-COVID.
And so all the shit that you like thought was gonna come back, like officially isn't coming back. And like all the shit that like is new that you weren't down with, like is officially real life now. And like so now you're just dealing with the fucking like new norm, and not all of it's awesome, you know? And now it's
Yeah.
just cold and dark all the time. So my soul
yeah.
my soul is damp. My soul is damp.
the weather does not help.
I'm back in New England and my soul is damp.
You gotta go back to Mexico.
I'm on my way, boo. I'm on my way. I by the next episode in 2023, the 2 episodes from now, I will be somewhere fucking warm because
Like,
my
that's the
soul,
thing.
My
Like,
soul
okay.
is cold.
Like, as a Canadian, I don't have a lot of options, okay? Like, it's either cold in the east or cold in the west or somewhere in the middle. But, like, you Americans have the luxury of literally being able to live in a tropical climate if you
We
want.
could be,
So
yeah, we've got all the things.
the people that
like,
choose to live in, I don't know, I don't want to hate on, like, Vermont.
Canada?
Vermont is cute. No, but we
Don't
can't.
hate on Vermont.
We can't get into the U.S. Like, if I could just, like, gallivant off to, like, Miami, like you could, I would probably do that. Now, I will
mean,
not go to
you
Miami
can.
because it rains like crazy there, and I went to Miami one time, and it rained the entire time. But
well, you can't go in rainy season, and it
I'd
rains
be, like,
for 10
up
minutes
in
and then
Palm
stops.
Springs, maybe somewhere in the desert.
Yeah,
like,
man, we got all the climates, you
we
know?
got all the climates.
We got all the climates. Yeah, but I'm still going to fuck off to a beach somewhere because I'm over this shit already.
Well, I don't blame you. I don't blame
yeah.
you. If I could, I would.
If I could, I would tell people that it's time for some hotline bling. Announcing the launch of our People Problems hotline. Peeps can call in and leave us a note with a people problem, a story, a response, or feedback to an episode at 310-564-6462. You'll stay anonymous if you want to. Just let us know. Please call in with your craziest stories, your best questions at the People Problems hotline, 310-564-6462. And don't forget to join our community, the People Ops Society. Pops is our listener and People Pro community. Members can use the forum for peer feedback, download awesome resources and templates written by peers, connect with thought leaders in the HR and benefits space, and get access to free courses all included in your membership. Use the code PeopleProblems at peopleopsociety.com to get 20% off your membership today. Use the code PeopleProblems at peopleopsociety.com to join our community. All right, Tyson, we've got a fun episode today. We're going to kick it off with some pops in the news. But our episode topic for today is the holiday party because 'tis the season. And I think these are back. Like, I think holiday parties are back. Maybe not in full effect, but they're back.
Yeah.
And we're going to start with an interesting story, which is about a French employee who has to fight for his right not to party, as you so aptly put. That was your joke. I stole it. So basically, this guy was like, I'm not going to participate in after work drinks and these like bullshit team building activities, you guys. I just want to go home. And he was sued he was fired for not attending these activities. And so he sued the employers, obviously in France, so different rules. But he basically was fired for, quote, professional incompetence, specifically for his refusal to adhere to the company's, quote, fun values. So according to the court, which is like France's highest court, the Court of Cassation, and shout out to John Hyman for his wonderful LinkedIn write-up about this. We miss you, John. They basically ruled that it was an exercise of his fundamental freedom of expression, which is their official term, that he's not required to go to these things and it is not a basis for termination. So this guy was like, I'm not going to your stupid fucking after work drinks and I don't want to participate. And they fired him and France was like, yeah, you can't do that. He's allowed to like express his fundamental freedom of expression of not going. We don't have that law here in the United States. So that's one thing that's important to know. We do not have that protection, a quote unquote fundamental freedom of expression, which is, why you can be fired for saying stupid shit on social media and other things. But fascinating to think that someone would get fired for not attending the social gatherings at a company.
I have what they call the joy of missing out. I do not like
JOMO.
I have JOMO hardcore. I do not like participating in social events. I do not like participating in
We know how
team
much you
builders.
love team building. So
I cannot stand icebreakers. I don't want to be anywhere near that. I actually had just been in person with people and like
you're just an introvert with a big personality.
The team building, like it caused me so much anxiety. Like I'm not interested. I do not like it. We're gonna have a whole episode
I'm like
on
the
this.
asshole
So like
we are. I'm like the asshole that tries to win the team building. I'm like Captain fucking America.
Yeah, so like TBD on like an episode around team building, but like I'm just, all the power to this guy to fight for his right to not party because like you shouldn't be forced into doing it. And like I actually get this a lot where managers are like, oh, they're not social on the Slack channels and they're not participating in the team events. And I'm like, just leave people alone. We have Slack fatigue. We have Zoom fatigue. Speaking of like the post-pandemic world, like
read
it's
the
too
fucking
much.
room. It's too much. Read the room. And also like if you've got someone that's like habitually missing things or like really isn't participating and you've given them a variety of opportunities to participate in that aren't just like drinking events, like there's probably another dynamic there that you need to be aware of. Like either a family dynamic or like there's just like there's something else going on if someone's really not interested in engaging with the team, and it might be like they just don't get along with the team very well. Like, and that's something to be fucking aware of.
If anyone's planning any sort of fun team building, etc. activities, do it during the workday. Like people want to go to we spend so much time at work, have some of the fun during the workday versus like expecting people to be there like after hours or on weekends when they should be with their family, unless, and we're going to get into this, unless there's like some sort of family component to it. Because like, honestly, like for me at the end of the day, like all I care about is being with my baby. Like I don't want to like be roped into doing more work stuff, especially socializing, like God forbid.
Yeah, we just talked about the 4-day work week with Ryan May, like whether or not that actually works. We've expressed our opinions in a few mediums, but like you've got time to take 3 hours and end the day early and fucking enjoy each other. And it's probably 3 hours well spent.
Yes,
it's probably 3 hours well spent. Look, I think the idea of like ending every day at 5 p.m. is fucking bullshit, but like if you're going to plan something, like be cognizant of everybody's like different obligations and shit. And like, I don't know. I more power to this guy for standing up and being like, you can't fire me for this shit. I do my job. My job is not to be social at the bar with you guys.
Definitely not.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that said, I'm very excited for the rest of our chat, which is that's a bit of a sneak preview. So we're going to do a fun format for today's conversation. We are going to talk about holiday parties, and we are going to talk about HR at the holiday party, and we are going to do this in the infamous this or that format. So for those of you who have not listened to a this or that, this is kind of a fun sort of podcast styling choice. But basically, I'm going to list 2 different options, and Tyson and I are going to discuss our preference between those options. So we've got 3 different this or that's for 2 different categories. And the first category is just holiday parties, work holiday parties in general. So we're just going to start with like the general foundation here, and then we're going to talk more specifically about HR and HR at the holiday party. So you ready for this, Tyson? Our very first this or that?
I'm so excited. I'm ready.
All right. Drum roll, please. This or that number 1, holiday party at the office or holiday party at a bar?
At the bar, because the food and the drinks will most certainly be better.
Okay. So I'm going to say if I have to choose between the 2, which I think is the rules.
You do. Yeah. Duh.
I'm gonna say at a bar because it just will definitely feel more festive. However, I would say I wouldn't, and it hard to do it this or that when you want to add like 4 options. Like I actually think the coolest holiday parties are the ones that are like a proper like gala at like a fucking like Universal Studios or some shit. Like obviously that's like a big company thing, and I have hosted for teams before. Like we're clearing the furniture out of the office. Like, let's have a banger in the space because it's just cheaper.
Yeah.
And you can fit a lot of people, and people don't have to you don't have to worry about like parking and blah 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 because you already know all that. But I would say, yeah, you got to get people like into a festive location. So I feel like you got to get out of the office.
Yeah, like bar or restaurant.
Bar, restaurant, venue.
Maybe like a nice brunch spot at like 10 a.m. Kind of situation.
You're a brunchy bitch? Okay.
Maybe a little, or like
some mimosas.
An early happy hour, sneak out at about 3. Everybody wraps things up by 5. Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. Or just like a boozy lunch. Like I remember my
but then we have to, not going back to work after
No. There was no expectation that anyone was going back to work.
Okay.
Like it was like a 4-hour, it was a Mexican lunch. It was 4 hours long, and there was lots of cocktails if you wanted them. And the expectation was like, you'll be out of here by 5.
Cool.
Or not, or we'll after party. All right.
Ugh. No after party for me. Do not put me down for the after party.
No? All right.
My after party is sleeping.
So if the this or that was go home or next move, you're on the go home train?
Literally, you can give me the option between almost anything in the world and go home, and I will pick go home.
Oh my God. This conversation is going to be so boring when we're like in our 40s. It's gonna be like, we had to record this at 8 p.m. and Tyson's asleep, so it's just me.
Oh, this is awesome. Okay, let's go to the next one.
All right. So next, this or that. All right. Holiday party to invite spouses and significant others or employees only?
So I'm going to have to do a caveat to this one. If it is the big gala, all sorts of people there, I want my spouse there with me. But if it's just like an after work, like just the team, like just like just a little team after work, kind of like what we were talking about, maybe quick happy hour, that sort of thing, then definitely no spouse.
Okay. This isn't about you, Tyson. This is about what's right for other people. No, I'm just kidding.
Wait, I thought this was about me.
I
thought this was... Okay, we're playing Would You Rather, okay, people?
We are literally playing Would You Rather. Yeah. This is just podcast of Would You Rather. So I guess I think I agree with that. I was actually just talking to my sister about this. So she works at a company, and she's sort of like, typical startup. She's the COO / de facto head of HR because
nice.
No one listens to our podcast and hires HR when they should. But they're debating whether or not they should. So they're planning a ski weekend as like a team building activity. And they're like, oh, should we allow spouses and should we pay for them? And I'm like, if you want to team build over 2 days of skiing, you should not allow spouses because it's just going to suck all the energy away from the team. However, for the holiday party, like that's a great, I think inviting spouses and significant others is a great opportunity when it's a casual, local, hey, I want to get to know the context of the people I work with, right? I actually think it's really helpful to have spouses and significant others in the mix when you can for barbecues and all that kind of stuff because it tells people, like, these are the people that are important to my colleagues, right?
Like a family fun day.
Yeah, anything that's like more casual, easy, like, but if and the goal is just general merriment, right? Like the goal of the holiday party is general merriment, right? The goal of a team building event is like the team to bond, not the team to bond with spouses, right?
100%.
So I think I'm all for it. I have previously hosted holiday parties where I've flown in the significant others of people, and it's been really appreciated, and everybody's had a blast. I think for holiday parties, it's significant others and spouses. However, the question really becomes, if you're single, I may or may not be single right now, depending on when this airs and how I'm feeling for the day. Like, do you bring a date, or do you just go solo, go stag? This isn't like a wedding where you like get a +1 or not. This is like assume if you have a +1, you get one. So do
Honestly,
you take one?
Well, I would say yes. So look, I've been to holiday parties in the past where it's like literally like a bar. There's food and there's drinks,
right?
And it's like just like you're going to the bar, but except all the people that are there are people that you work with and their spouses. Right. So you just sort of like mull around and that sort of thing. And in those types of situations, sometimes it's nice to have a spouse as well, because it takes like the pressure off of like a conversation. Totally. So like me, and when I'm getting
and
to
like
my
if you
wit's
don't
end,
like your colleagues,
I can just talk to my husband. Or like it just creates like, you know, if like you don't really have anything to talk about because you see these people all the time, and like you know, you don't want to talk about work. It's like, oh, you know, any travel plans for you guys this winter? And like just the conversation just flows a little bit easier.
I wonder
sometimes.
if there was like research done, or maybe we should do it, of like, if you invite spouses and significant others to holiday parties, like, are people on better behavior?
Oh,
like
100%.
Is there less incidents of fucking crazy drama?
I feel like I don't
less
have to
drama
do
llamas.
Yeah, it's definitely less
Anecdotally,
drama.
I can tell you that when spouses are around, there's less drama. But again, you didn't answer my question. Like, do I, like, in that instance, do I bring a date if I know everybody's like married around me and like bringing spouses and girlfriends and boyfriends? Like, do I bring somebody?
I think it would be the same. Like, would you bring that person out with like your friends?
Yeah,
then?
I think it just depends on if
Yeah,
I like
really
my
depends.
colleagues or not.
And
like,
if you like the
oh,
person,
man.
like if it's someone that you like want to, you know.
Not like I
introduce
gotta
to
find a
people.
date. Yeah,
I wouldn't rush out to find a date. Yeah, okay.
That could be a real like roll of the dice to just bring like a complete newbie to your like company holiday party.
Date.
Yeah.
Hey, I've got this
Swipe right to come to my holiday party.
That's
I'm sure it's been done.
I think there's a movie about that. I think it's called Holiday.
Yeah.
But anyways, okay.
Oh my god. I don't do holiday movies. All right. Moving on. This one's good. This one's a good segue. So next, this or that under holiday parties in general category is drink tickets or open bar.
I'm gonna say drink tickets.
Oh, I'm the fun one.
Yeah, I'm gonna say drink tickets.
I'm going open bar all day. All day.
First of all, I don't think it's the company's responsibility to pay for people to get wasted. Second
then
of
why
all,
have a party?
You don't need to drink to have fun, Alexa. Okay.
Okay. We literally started this podcast with you telling the story about how you cracked a beer at a company party, and everybody was like, HR's here.
Yeah, but like having a drink ticket, multiple drink tickets, like sure. But like, I just don't think that people need to be getting plastered, and people do. And this is what I also
Of course.
don't like. So there was a situation, we're going to go back to the beginning of this conversation. We talked about how cold Canada is. There was a really sad situation that happened in Canada where an individual got wasted at a holiday party, went home, passed out in his front yard, and died. He died because he froze to death. Ugh. And like, this is the sort of shit that I don't want to have to worry about. Like, I don't want that on my, like, living on my conscience. Maybe this is just me being too HR. And like, there's so many logistics that go with like people drinking. Like, you need taxi chits or Ubers or like whatever.
So,
but like, I think we can have merriment with 3 drinks or 2 drinks. We don't need to have more than that.
So I always will err on the side of treat adults like adults. So I don't need to be rationed. Sometimes I can have 4 drinks and be stone cold fucking sober. And sometimes I can have 1 drink and feel tipsy. A lot of factors that go into that. One is their food. If you're going to have alcohol, you have to have food. In Boston, in most venues, that is actually legally mandated. If you have a gathering with alcohol of a certain size, you have to have food.
Hold on. And that's an even bigger... If there is no food...
Well, then you're just asking for fucking trouble.
Absolutely. Like,
and there are things you can do to mitigate. Exactly. Like, if you want to say everybody gets like, $30 reimbursed for an Uber tonight, don't worry about it. Don't drive. Like, don't be an asshole. Those are all really good, thoughtful measures to having a gathering. I just don't believe that if you're going to have a gathering and a party to celebrate, that you should be like, oh, but I don't trust you to have more than 2 drinks, so I need to hand out fucking tickets. Like, everyone should be an adult. And I'm sorry, but like, the guy who passed out in the cold, like, is probably maybe does this and steps the bounds on his alcohol usage in other situations too. And like, there's only so much you can do to mitigate that. Like, you don't obviously want to be the employer that encouraged it, but like, you also can't keep your employees from going out together after the party. So like,
here's
treat
the other
people
problem.
like adults. Keep it short. Be safe.
Here's the other anecdotal problems that I have with this is that there are a lot of people, especially now, young people are like choosing to not drink. It's like a whole thing. They're called like sober curious or whatever.
Terrible for you.
It is. And there's a lot of people that for one reason or another choose that they don't want to drink. And what I've anecdotally experienced is when there is an unlimited amount of alcohol, there's a lot of like people pressuring other people to drink or like, you know, ordering drinks for everybody. And it's like, oh, come on. Like, you know what I mean? So there's just a little bit more of that happens. Look, if you asked me if I was planning a wedding, absolutely. If there's not an open bar, I'm gonna be pissed. Like I can
I
get
won't
down
go if it's not open bar. To be clear,
like
don't invite me.
It's fun, but I just like I don't want people to feel pressured in a work situation to either drink when they don't want to or drink more if they don't want to. But again, I get it. People need to be adults, but they aren't.
People need to be adults, but also other mitigating factors. You should have a mocktail on the menu. You should also, I mean, look, you can do drink tickets and people can barter for drink tickets. I've seen it 100 fucking times. People are like, you're going to use your drink ticket? And then all of a sudden, like, some assholes got 8 drink tickets. Like, it doesn't, like, if people want to get rowdy, they're going to get rowdy. The other thing you can do is you keep that shit short. So you're like, yeah, it's open bar, but the open bar has a limit. It's cut off after 2 hours. Like,
okay.
So you have your fun for your 2 hours or 3 hours or however long the party is, and you have your fun, and like, the wait staff knows, like, no shots, and like, we don't do shots, and this shit closes at 3 hours in, right? Like, keep the budget in check as well. So I don't know. I think you can do open bar and do it well, and be thoughtful about how to set everybody up for success. And I would also argue, like, to your point about like ending the day early, not only does like everybody kind of like that anyway, but also like I would venture to guess like the number of incidents you have when your holiday party ends at 5 or 6 versus your holiday party ends at like 8 or 9 is probably like much lower. So you know, happy hours probably, if you're worried about it, it's a lot of people, like probably a little smarter than like, oh, we're gonna take everybody out till 10 o'clock at night. Like,
yeah. No,
again, just depends on the situation and what you can afford, but I'm open bar all day, kids. Like, party's a party.
Go work for Alexa.
Yeah, everybody knows I love an open bar. All right, moving on. So we're on to our second category. We're halfway through this. Holiday, this or that. We're going to move to HR at the holiday party. So this is specifically about how you feel, your choices based on being HR at the holiday party. Okay?
Okay.
All right. I already know your answer to the first one, but
this is not even a question.
This is not even a question. You basically already said this, but stay late or leave early.
Leave early.
Leave early. Leave early, like
arrive late and leave early.
Just cameo that shit. Just be seen walking through and go.
I actually like listened to like another podcast like a while ago about like ways to like make yourself like seem cooler, and that was actually like one of the things. You never ever want to be the first person to arrive.
We need to do an episode about the other shit we listen to, because I need to hear all about that. But
you don't ever want to be the first person to arrive, and you don't want to ever be the last person.
Don't be too available. Don't be too available.
So you don't want to be too available. So you just want to like make a quick appearance, talk to who you need to talk to, and then once the conversations reach some sort of like
fever pitch, get
the hell out.
Dip. Everybody knows when that happens too. Like, you know, at a party when like shit is starting to turn towards the second half.
Yeah.
And like, you need to know if you're on the get the fuck out of here train or like the I'm taking this to the next bar train. I am usually clearly on one team or the other. I never meddle. Cool. All right. Yeah. I'm. It depends on the team. It depends on who I am in the room too. Like, if I'm the boss, I don't stay late. If I'm with colleagues and peers that I really like, sometimes I'll be the first one to get us to the next bar. It just depends on the situation. I also think it depends on your level of comfort in these scenarios in general. Like, I would argue if you're not, like, rule of thumb, if you're not socially the person that's, like, taking your friends to the next bar or, like, even out with your friends for drinks, like, as a normal part of your social standing, doing that shit with your colleagues is not a good idea. Like, don't be like, oh, I'm the shy guy that never goes out, so let me go be like the next move guy with my colleagues. That's how people get fucking shitty and weird. Like, keep your social norms the same. Like, don't try to be the party guy with your colleagues if you're not the party guy with your friends.
on,
Like, it's going to backfire.
The other way around, we might need to like water it down. If you are someone who likes to like go absolutely wild, maybe you have to like reel it back a little bit with your colleagues.
Right, but like my point is like stay in your comfort zone. Like with obviously knowing that you're at work. Like
totally.
and I will say, like, if you're the asshole that treats work like a frat house, like, you're an idiot. Like, just don't do that. Like, just know you're at work. You're still at work. You can have fun, but you're still at work.
Okay.
All right, cool. Moving on. Next one. HR at the holiday party. HR only or HR with the company? So I think HR, like an HR only holiday party versus HR with the company at the company holiday party. Right.
Yeah, I am an HR
Gen
only.
Pop.
I am an HR only fan. I think we don't do it often enough. Like often, so when I'm gathering, I often gather with my clients, right? So I'm usually like with like people in the business. So, I'm wearing my HR hat all the time, no matter what. And yes, there's an aspect of like being cool HR and whatever, but there's just an element of letting loose that you can do when you are with HR only. And I would also say that if I was with HR only, that influences all of my other answers. Like, I would stay late. I would want an open bar. I don't want my spouse there, and it would be better at a bar. So like, it's just a completely different thing.
This is
HR
like your
only
version of like girls weekend. This is like HR,
like,
the
this
HR
is
only
fun.
holiday party.
This is actually fun.
Because you can fucking relax.
Because you can
basically
talk and like, it's your team that oftentimes like people in HR don't really like. Yes, you are a team, but there's not always like a really strong team aspect to the role because you're kind of like off working in silos. So it's really a valuable time to just be with your HR colleagues.
Yeah. Look, I'm all about the like inter-team parties, like whether it's HR or not. Like, I do think there should be a core party where everybody is together. Yeah. That's like the whole fucking point. But I'm all about the like, oh, this team goes with their manager to lunch, or oh, our partner took us to whatever. I think I could see how it's like fun to just be amongst peers, where everybody kind of understands the same rules of engagement.
Right.
Yeah, that's dope. All right, last one. Ready? HR at the holiday party, drunk person on the open mic, or catching canoodling in the washroom, or as we say here in the States, the bathroom. Which would you rather find a drunk person on the mic, or I guess watch a drunk person on the mic, or catch someone canoodling in the bathroom?
Definitely catch a drunk person on the open mic, mostly because then there would be witnesses and it would make my job afterwards a hell of a lot easier. In a past life, this actually did happen.
Oh, yeah?
There was like this whole situation after where like our manager talked to us about being HR at the holiday party and what does that mean and what our responsibilities are at said
what
holiday
did they
parties.
say?
So it was that, HR is always a representation of the company. And I guess like what happened was the question was, okay, like should HR have stepped in or should another leader have stepped in? And the answer is that another leader should have stepped in.
Agreed.
But because you are HR there, you're like, fuck, like you kind of have this like feeling that you need to do it. And basically, anyways, our follow-up from that was like, choose wisely whether or not you want to go to the party. At least that's how I interpreted it. And then we all like sort of like opted out. We were like, fuck this. We'll just like do our own thing.
See, I hate that.
And which sucked. Yeah, no, that's like the opposite of like the cool HR
problem.
thing. Yeah, exactly.
That's the fun police problem. Like, you're just you're stewards of a good time. And it's not a good time for anybody to get up there fucking loaded on the mic. Like, it's not fun for anybody.
Right. And so it's not fun. And like, but at least like there is a de-escalation pathway that like makes a lot more sense. Hey, come over here, have a glass of water, get the fuck off the mic. Versus like catching people in the washroom, like, oh, that's just like a nightmare for me. Like I don't want that.
I would so prefer that. We haven't done our and foreshadowing on 2023. We have some very fun topics coming up, but like we haven't done our office romance episode yet, and I'm like all about the office romance drama. Like, I live for that shit. I've been in them. I've facilitated them. I'm all about the like colleagues like hooking up thing. And so for me, it would just be super fun to catch people because I'm like, oh, I can confirm without a doubt that the drama I thought was happening is fucking happening. So for me, it would be very validating.
But what if there's like spouses involved and stuff? Because I've dealt with that as well, where there's been
even better. Where's the popcorn? Where's the popcorn, baby girl? Bring it on. Bring it on. Yeah.
All right.
I mean, you're just HR. Their spouses are not your problem. Like,
You know what though? Until they do make it your problem. Have I not told this story on this podcast before? Where I was like talking to this guy who was like crying because he cheated on his wife in the office, and like he like recorded the conversation, or like had his like wife on like speakerphone or something for the conversation. That I was like, he wanted me to validate that he had nothing going on with this woman in the office. I'm like, I don't freaking know. I was like so young too. Like this is like
not good use of HR. That is not a good use of HR. That's
like, how did I get here?
That is not a healthy boundary. Jesus Christ. All right. Well, I have one last this or that.
Okay.
Idris Elba or Charlie Hunnam?
Idris Elba, always.
Always. He's so hot.
Always.
He's such a steak. No, I don't know. I think I might go Charlie Hunnam on this one. I don't know. It's hard. I like them all. They're all very sexy. But Charlie Hunnam is like British and rugged, and Sons of Anarchy is like a fetish of mine, so.
Yeah, I did like Sons of Anarchy, and he's in a new show that looks interesting. But no, I'm gonna have to go with Idris.
Yeah, I don't know. They're both steaks. Holiday steaks all around. Yes, please. All right. Well, if you're at your holiday party this year, don't be a fucking idiot. Keep your drinks to a minimum and have fun.
Have fun.
Party safely. Boom. People Problems is recorded and mixed by Emma Parker at Chickadee Films with production assistance by Anna Parker. People Problems is managed by Emily Melton Lemons. For more information and to sign up for our weekly newsletter where we dive deeper into hot topics and share our great finds, go to peopleproblemspod.com. Please make sure to follow us on all things social at People Problems Pod. Follow Tyson at hr.shook and follow me, Alexa Baggio, at The Influencer, spelled with an HR. Thanks for listening and catch you next week.